Like, I hear I know, you know what I mean, because I know you personally. I know, you know what I mean, a lot of stuff you go through, a lot of stuff you've been through. I know you was into sports, so, you know, break it down, you know what I mean, what was sports like? I know you had a powerful man on your side, you know what I mean, as your coach.
Sport. I was into sports.
Sport, sorry, sport.
I wish I was into sports. I was into sports.
So break down your sport and, you know what I mean, tell us about your mentor or your coach. I know Coach Gadson mean a lot to you, so, you know, break it down for me.
When it came down to sports, I tried sports. But I tried sports. But I only did
some of the sports you tried and then the sport that you actually did.
Yeah, I did football. Straight garbage, man. Bro, I don't think fly paper and super glue could have made that pigskin stick to my hands, bro. By the time I started doing other sports, I already had wrestled so much, it was like my body would not do the things it needed to do to be good in other sports. Right. The only thing I was even remotely decent at outside of wrestling was track and baseball. And people don't know about the baseball part because by the time I was in 6th grade, I had played from kindergarten all the way up to 6th. And I'm like, I got burnt out. You know what I mean? Like, we had the T-ball, slow pitch softball, fast pitch, baseball, all the way to 6th grade, every summer, man. You know, and then our dad used to take us out to the field and we'd be playing, you know, catch, you know, with the glove and all that. And so that was we were decent in that sport. But by the time I got to high school, I'm like, nah, bruh, ain't doing that.
Right.
I'm burnt out from that. We became champions in 6th grade, undefeated, went out as a champ, Mets. Shout out to my team. Damn loose. Yeah, baby. we went undefeated, dog. So I didn't play baseball after that. Ran track. But track was such a hard thing to really get into because my dad was a Hall of Fame track star here in Iowa. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, just a beast. Ran like the 400 in like 47.6 or something stupid like that. It took 7 people to state in 1979. 7 people, and they won it. They're the first team in the metro area out of Cedar Falls. That means out of Cedar Falls, Columbus, West, any other little drinky-dink school around this area. Only team to ever win a state title in track. The first team to win it, actually, in the metro area. With 7 people. You know, they was doing amazing type stuff. So when I got to East and I started running track, you know, our coach was like, man, Tim's, Lloyd's kids, we about to win state this year. Psych. Boy, didn't know. I look, my feet was like it was coming out of syrup or something. I'm like, man, I can't even lift these mugs up fast enough to do what he was doing. So there was a lot of pressure to try to fit those shoes. So I stayed out every season, but then I ended up not going out the other seasons. But wrestling, that was something I could get with. You know, it just came natural. I told you I was spicy, dog. And the only reason I ever even started wrestling is because I thought I was about to be smacking people with chairs. I'm about to throw somebody through a table. Power driver, Goldberg. Totally didn't know what I was getting into. And by the time, you know, I always dinked around with it. My grandfather actually was a hell of a wrestling coach. Like, really big names that came through Iowa as far as wrestling, like Mike Menardsdale, Stuart Carter, Bill Tate, which is my uncle. He used to coach at Columbus. These huge names. He coached all these people, you know what I'm saying? Wendell Love was an amazing wrestler. Dejan Love's dad was an amazing wrestler. My grandfather trained him. Timothy Klinghammer, Peasy's dad, was an amazing wrestler. My dad trained him. Or excuse me, my grandfather trained him. And, you know, so wrestling was in our family. But I always digged around with it, you know what I mean? And by the time I got to in high school, you know, Steve Knipp, who had been a coach there for a long time at East, he was gone. And, Coach Gadson came in. Didn't know him from Adam. Just knew me and my brother were decent wrestlers, and he infiltrated my life and interrupted that mug, dog. Like, spent most of my summers wrestling, and it was really fun because Coach Gadson came in with a vision. And I think that's the problem with Waterloo right now is there's nobody with vision and standards. Coach Gadson came with vision and standards, and those visions and standards weren't bucked. Like, people in the district would try to buck against that. The coach was like, no, bro, I'm not bucking. Like, I'll lose my job before I lose the trust of these kids. You know what I mean? Like, we trusted that he could help us be good. But the only way we could be good was doing things that were unpopular. For instance, we had really, really good wrestlers that probably could have been amazing. They probably would have won state our freshman year. None of those wrestlers, to be honest with you, they didn't make it, dog. It wasn't because they weren't good. It wasn't because they didn't have the talent. Because they wouldn't show up to morning workouts.
Right.
They wouldn't come to morning weightlifting. And Coach Gadson was like one of the only people like in the entire East High program that said, bro, if you don't come to practice, you don't come to weightlifting, you don't suit up. That's what it is. This is a privilege. This isn't guaranteed. That means you didn't earn it. You don't show up to practice. You know what I mean? So after all the upperclassmen started seeing that he wasn't budging, he never kicked them off the team. They kicked themselves off. And right now I read a lot of books. There's this dude named John Maxwell who's a world-renowned leadership, author and just a really good, person when it comes to learning leadership capabilities. And he says, if you want to create a winning environment, you create an environment that losers can't handle, that they won't survive in.
Right, because you have to create the culture. Without a culture, you have nothing.
And I'm not calling any of them people losers, because I bump into one of them people and they be like, what you say about me? I'm not saying that.
It's just preparing them for you got to have that right mentality.
Yeah, he created an environment that only people that wanted to be there were going to be there, and people that didn't want to be there were going to remove themselves, and that's exactly what happened. So by the time, long story short, by the time me and my brother became juniors and seniors, all that not coming to practice and missing morning workouts, that was not even heard of. That wasn't even part of it. You came to that. It got to a point where Coach Gadson didn't even tell people about those things. We did.
Right.
Somebody missed practice, you didn't have to get on them. We would. Bro, you missing practice? What? Man, go run laps. Do sprints. We didn't even have to do any of that because we wanted to win.